welcome to Lords of Gaming YouTube channel. My name is Joseph Repko. I'm the Associate Editor-in-Chief, and I am here today with the legendary Kevin Lim. How are you today, sir?
Boy, legendary made me feel even better. No, I appreciate it. I'm excited. This is like Christmas for people who are fans of Warframe, and the energy here is just unreal. We've been here for the past couple days leading up to it, and every day is getting more and more exciting. And today, like literally as you're watching this right now, the doors have just opened up at RBC
Whole
Place.
crowd, people showing in the Soulfriend Zen room, and
It's incredible. Have you been to TennoCon before?
I have not.
Okay.
So this is my first time, and first time doing a real in-person interview like this too. So
Oh man, this is exciting and so nice to me. I saw you the other day at one of the media preview events at Digital Extremes, and yeah, the amount of energy from people who are coming from all over the world. Like you're based in Florida, I'm based in Vancouver. We've got people from Bali and France and Finland. This is an incredible place to be right now.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
And it's only gonna get even better. So.
Yeah, you just wait. Like tonight's event, like Tenno Live, is going to blow your mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to attend last year, and it was so cool.
Everybody needs to watch that. So,
Yes.
okay. So I kind of wanted to start with your voice acting career first and foremost.
Yeah.
So kind of when did your journey into the voice acting sphere start?
About 17 years ago, my background is that I spent the better part of almost 20 years doing morning radio and television. So as part of doing that, you get asked to read commercials for random clients or whatever, and I'd always loved voicing for characters. And when I was younger, I would always love imitating my favorite cartoon characters.
Same
And
here.
so, right? Okay. So my thing was that I found that opportunity as something that I could use to develop character voices and other kind of reads. So I just really, any opportunity I could to read for commercials and voice for commercials throughout my entire radio career, I took that. And then about 7 years ago, I found a voiceover agent who then opened up so many great doors to do things like, bigger commercials and video games like Warframe. So yeah, and now I can say this is my full time, and it's incredible. It's such a fun, creative, and fulfilling industry to be part of, and it's filled with a lot of good people, and that's what I love about it too. Like everybody who I've met so far here at TennoCon, from the voice actor cast, everyone I met last year, like we're all friends now. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go over some of like your earlier roles. So I kind of looked at your whole reel on KevinLimSpeaking.com, and so I saw stuff from everything from like Best Buy, Club Penguin, and I didn't actually expect to see that. So.
Yeah. So oddly enough, Disney was my first paid voice acting gig that I ever got.
Really?
Yeah. So that was for Club Penguin, and it was actually my co-host at the time, named Sonia. She made an introduction for me because we did this human library thing for a bunch of students, and Disney had a booth right beside ours. So we had ours for being radio hosts, and then there's Disney, so people could go around and ask questions. And so I'd been a lifelong fan of Disney, and so my co-host said, like, "This is my friend Kevin. He
Dream
really
come true."
right." And they were like, "Actually, we're looking for a voice right now. Can you come in whatever day it was?" And I was like, "Yes." So yeah, doing that thing for Disney was my first paid thing in voice acting. It was, to be able to say that you started with Disney is just like mind blowing.
So would you say that's like what would be the role that you think got you the kind of like the range that you do in terms of like your multiple roles? So like I looked and saw that you did voice acting recently for Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. You worked with Hoyoverse with one of the trailers for Genshin Impact. What is like the thing that they mostly call back to whenever they're in the hiring process for you?
If you look at all my characters that I've done, they're all very different.
Oh yeah.
And so a lot of it is just auditions and auditioning for a variety of different characters and ranges, and so I don't know if I've ever been called for a particular sound.
Okay.
aside from the stuff that I do for commercials.
Okay.
So, but most of the other stuff that I do in animation and gaming is not my real voice. Although learning Navi for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora was pretty cool.
So it's just kind of like I kind of want to ask about that role specifically. What is it? Just kind of like the background? Is it kind of like the background characters, or is like there specific characters that you voiced for? Because I was looking at the IMDb listing, and it wasn't giving me any specific names.
Yeah, so I actually voiced 4 characters in that game, and I think 2 of them are Navi characters, and 2 of them are human characters. One's like an RDA scientist. One is an RDA. I can't remember what the other one was. So you'll encounter these characters throughout, but that particular game is such a big open world that there's so many cast members involved in that one. So I don't know, like one is a dire horse rider. I can't remember the names of all the ones
I haven't played it yet, so I'm kind of just like going completely blind with like names or like I said, I just didn't see any kind of like listing for the names. I just kind of wanted to know what you were doing with that. So
yeah. I mean, to be honest, finding some of those characters might be, specific if you look for, like the RDA scientist. I think he lives within an audio log if you unlock that as part of the process.
Okay.
So
I kind of want to know, like, working with specific companies, kind of like Ubisoft, Hoyoverse, and Digital Extremes. What's the kind of like general vibe, kind of like experience working with them? Like, what would you kind of say is kind of like the culture that you're like walking into?
If for each game, it's a different. Depending on the role and the level of roles, like if I'm doing additional voices, you kind of got brought in for those sessions. So depending on what the role is for, if it's for additional voices, you kind of do your session, you wrap up, and then you find out when the game is going to be coming out, and you get excited to see how it's. This particular role for Digital Extremes has been perhaps the most fulfilling one that I've done so far, because this Warframe game is such a of all the companies that I've worked with and the roles that I've played, this has been the most exciting one because it has a huge following and such love from this community that's been built over 11 years with Warframe. So the fact that TennoCon exists right now, the fact that this is such a massive event, is such a testament to like how much this company cares about its fans and wants to do outreach to their fans and to give back, and that's so cool. So it's just as exciting for us as the cast members to be part of this as it is for people to be attending, because we're just wowed as much as you are.
So there was never like any kind of fear, like some overzealous fans being like, "Oh, come on, I was expecting better from this guy" or something. Nothing like that. Or?
Not that I've experienced so far.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah, unless you want to be the first.
No, definitely.
I love Bombastine too. He was so much fun to play, and every time we did a session, they would always add more layers into his story, his character. And with Bombastine, it was like there's 2 layers. There's what he's saying and what he's thinking.
Yep, I noticed that all the time. Like,
right?
You were able to portray that very perfectly, because the kind of like the dynamic that I picked up on was how he kind of like tried to put Lucinia on kind of like a pedestal for Thrax, kind of break her, and then whenever she was able to live up to that role, he kind of started to notice the spotlight's being taken away from him, and it's kind of like that rage building up inside him, that envy, and I heard that in the voice more so than anything, and I think you're able to pull that off perfectly, because they had everybody with the masks on, so you had to work with not really any kind of like facial expression for that voice, so you had to really move forward and really portray it perfectly. So
yeah, thank you. I mean, and a lot of that is the collaboration with Cam, the voice director, with Adrian, who's one of the writers, and the whole narrative team, who are able to help explain during those sessions, like, okay, here's the line, but here's the thinking behind the line, and then as we're doing it, we're trying out new things, and it's like, okay, well, how can you say it with a smile, but that smile is clearly fake.
yeah,
And that he's also just secretly very not happy about it at all. It was such a fun 3-dimensional character to play.
yeah.
Yeah.
And whenever it came to like being part of the Degree of Paradox, kind of like the development, what did you know about the story and kind of like the dev environment going into it?
Not much. You know, when I first got hired and cast as that role, it was for the TennoCon Relay in 2022. So it was this P.T. Barnum type character, big showman. Welcome to, and he was introducing all the new characters. And to be honest, I thought that was it for the character. Like, he was brought in just for that, and I thought, that's cool, that's awesome.
Being able to entertain everybody that showed up on that day for, like maybe over 100 different relays, just completely filled with people just sitting there and waiting and being entertained by Bombastine. So.
At the amphitheater, right? Yep. So he's introducing all the new characters one by one. Dominus Thrax, and then afterward I got sent another script. It's like, oh yeah, we want you to do the trailer. I'm like, what? Cool. And then like, oh yeah, by the way, he's actually like a key player, a key cast member for the Devere Paradox. And it was just, I remember I was telling my wife, like, this is incredible. Like, I was so appreciative of the trust from Digital Extremes to be able to take this character and develop him along with the rest of the crew to make him into what he is right now. And to get like fan art, like a keychain of Bombastine, or there's a cosplayer who's dressing up as Bombastine today too. That's just mind blowing. I
saw that specific one. It's just like the reverence that people hold for those characters. Like, it's got to be very humbling. It's got to be like a special feeling for you. So
yeah, it's really exciting. And I always say that I'm one part of Bombastine. Like, I'm the voice of Bombastine, but the words come from the narrative team. The actions, like there's a person named Elise who does the animation for the movements of Bombastine. So for me, it's really cool to be able to come to Digital Extremes and actually see all the other people who create this character that I am lucky enough to voice. So the VAs get a lot of the spotlight, which is very nice. But I also want to make sure that that love is shared with everybody else who is part of creating each of these characters, the animators. Again, the voice director, who it's this huge collaborative effort to create each of these individual characters.
Okay. And moving on from Bombastine, I want to kind of go into stuff that we're going to be seeing later on today. So I kind of want to talk about the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And you were specifically, kind of like, were you kind of like the catalyst for the Make-A-Wish specific thing for Warframe 1999 with James, or?
So how it works is that I have been a very loyal supporter and volunteer with Make-A-Wish for many, many years. And my wife actually works for Make-A-Wish as well. Okay. So there was a message that was sent out across the country about a 16-year-old boy from Ottawa who has spina bifida, and his wish was to become a voice actor. And so the question was, like, does anybody know any connections in the voice over industry? And so my wife sent it to me. I said, I know exactly the right company that can actually make this dream a reality. And so I immediately reached out to Reb Ford at Digital Extremes, and within a couple minutes she tweeted me right back, and she's like, we're in. And
just like that, huh?
Yeah. So I pitched it. I said, is there any way that you might be able to create a space for him to be in the game, and maybe even have him come to TennoCon or something like that to sort of see how big it is.
So he's going to be at TennoCon today, or?
He will be here, and he will be here sitting in the front row to witness his in-game debut in front of 3,500 people live and 500,000 people streaming around the world. And it is, I have been so excited to be here for months, having worked on the back end of this wish with the family and with Make-A-Wish and with Digital Extremes. This for me has been the most fulfilling thing about this year's experience for me, because I actually get to see firsthand his wish. I was in the recording session with him the other day when he was laying down the lines, and so I can't wait to see his face when he's sitting there and people are chanting his name, because he's now part of the cast, and I'm lucky to have played a small part in helping that become a reality by making a connection. So much of voice acting is paying it forward, because for each and every one of us, somebody gave us the chance. Yeah. Somebody opened the door for us and said, let me help you out. So I hope I was able to do that for James, and I know he's going to do it for somebody else too.
Yeah, and we actually during a special press preview, we're actually able to hear the voice acting specifically. What were, I guess, like, what was kind of like, whatever you were in the recording booth with him, was there any kind of like specific moments that you kind of saw his thing come to life, basically, like his eyes lighting up and all that, or?
Yeah, I think like when he got the lines, like he was rehearsing so much, and he takes acting classes 6 times a week.
Really?
He's always wanted to be an actor, and he's always wanted to do some voiceover stuff, and usually it takes a lot of years of reaching out to agents or just kind of grinding, and he's doing his own homework already too. So he's no stranger to working hard, and so I saw his eyes light up when he's reading these lines with such personality. And my favorite part of the whole session was actually at the very end when he finished all the lines. We went through a bunch of different variations of them, and it was Reb who said, "All right, that's a wrap. James, you're a voice actor now." And everybody in the whole room just erupted in clap, and it was amazing. And his mom was so touched, and I can't wait for them to actually experience TennoCon now and actually see, because they haven't seen the final product yet.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really cool.
And I think people are going to be able to hear it kind of earlier today because they're having a special in-game relay where it's going to be in the Hovanian Central Mall, and part of that's going to be the arcade where people are going to be able to hear that. So I wonder how many people are going to be able to pick up on that or go over to there first and see and actually hear it firsthand before knowing the full story behind it. So
yeah, I don't want to learn too much about his character, but he's a prankster, and so he and it's very true to who he is as well as a person. So the fact that they actually created a character that looks a little bit like him and also has a lot of his personalities, like Digital Extremes took the time and the care to actually create not just a character for him, but a character that reflected him too. So for him to live in this game forever, in this, it's just so
it's
cool.
Beautiful.
It's so cool.
It's beautiful.
So credit to Digital Extremes for making that possible, because it's they went above and beyond, and I couldn't be happier.
All right, and I think that's where I'm going to end the interview today. I want to say thank you very much for being able to sit down here and talk to me about this. I know it's been kind of unorthodox. I had multiple setups in mind, and I'm glad you're able to make the time. And
Thank you. Yeah, it was nice meeting you on this trip, and thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, appreciate it.
thank you, and
Yeah.
hope you have a great rest of your day.
You
and,
too.
And I can't wait to see if maybe there's like a role featured down the line for Digital Extremes as well. But obviously, I know you won't be able to see anything like that. But
I do play a small role in the 1999 demo. So
Oh,
I'm
really?
the first I'm the first voice that you hear in this demo.
Oh,
Yeah. I
keep an eye on that, everybody.
yeah. He sounds a lot more like me than Bombastine does.
Okay.
Yeah. So, thanks for your time, man. It was so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
It's so nice to meet you too, and I can't wait to see everybody's reactions to Warframe 1999's demo today.
It's gonna be so good. Yeah.
Sorry, my shoes
Look,
are-
we were just talking about you.
What the? Of course.
Are we still rolling? This is
Oh,
this
this
is
is-
come on.
Oh,
This is Reb.
She was the creative director of Warframe, Rebecca Ford, and this is the community director of
hi.
Digital Extremes,
Hello.
Megan Everett.
Cheers. How's it going?
We were talking about the Make-A-Wish thing today,
Oh,
and reaching out to you on Twitter, and right away you're like,
I
"We're
got
in."
you. I saw Kevin DM and I was like, we're done. We're in. We're good.
Amazing.
Yeah, we got it. This is the man. Make a wish.
all
Well,
because of
thank you
Kevin.
for making it possible.
All because
Thanks,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Love you all.
Love you too.
Happy TennoCon. See, I'm glad you're still rolling.
Right?
See? Fantastic. That's a good end.
Oh yeah.
Thanks,
All right.
man. Nice to meet you,
It's
Elsa.
nice to meet you too. I'll see you around the venue.
Take care, man. Thank you.
And thank you, Tatum.